Howdy, partner. Welcome to one of the most northern parts of the United States of America. Travel with me upriver as we talk to a bunch of ladies and fellers and they share their tales of wit and wisdom. That's right, it's time again for Skagit Storytellers.
With Liz Duffy.
And then I have this like old typewriter paper that I don't even know where
Typewriter paper?
Yeah. And I don't even know where it came from. And it's like this awesome like orange vintage box and
Oh, how is it different than regular paper?
I don't know, it's like thicker, I think. I don't know. I've never used it.
Is it just cardstock?
I don't know. I've never used it. It like says
Is it kind of like
typewriter paper.
You know when you have when you get married and then everything you put the word wedding in front of anything and it's
Right.
like triple the price?
Well, that's
You want to rent some tables? Oh, it's $10. Oh, they're wedding tables? $30.
Yeah. Well, it's probably the same thing. It's just like, I mean, there's printer paper and it's
Yes.
just paper.
Yeah. All right. Well, I like to start these podcasts off with talking about how we met. We met upstairs
Yep.
2 minutes ago.
Mhm.
But I first heard about you. I was in Barnes & Noble. Spencer and I had decided to just get away for the weekend, well, for one night. And I was thinking about how a lot of people sort of put all their eggs in one basket. And this totally leads to your podcast, too. They're like, okay, this is it. This is our one big trip to Mexico. We're going to go for 10 days, or we're going to spend $10,000, and we're going to enjoy it, and it's going to be amazing. And then the whole time leading up to it, you're excited. You go, you spend way too much money. And then maybe you're paying it off after, or maybe it wasn't like the trip for you. And suddenly you're like, it could have been the worst decision ever to save up for a year and go. So I said to Spencer, I said, well, let's do a bunch of like little tiny trips, Let's go to Bellingham. We're going to a show on Saturday night, the honeymoon. Our friends are playing there. Let's just get a room and then get there early, check in, hang out, and then go to the show and then come back and go to the pool and sleep in. It was the best weekend. We literally walked across the street, went to Barnes & Noble, found your book.
Yeah, I love that. It was on like the local authors shelf?
It was right there. It was like
Yeah.
the ones that were like, pointing outward, like your cover was right there. And the cover art is beautiful.
Well, thank you. Everybody knows people buy books by their cover. So.
Oh, totally. Well, I flipped open and there was something in the beginning about, and my whole idea was to write down things that I was reading in your book that I liked, and I haven't done it. But I just remember thinking like that was something that you said in the beginning. Like you talked about balance, and I work really hard at all the stuff that I do. And instead of taking that one giant week in Mexico or whatever, I'm going to relax all throughout the year at random times. So like, and I feel like you're also someone who like goes against what's normal or expected. And I was like, who gets a hotel room in Bellingham when they live 30 minutes away? I do.
Yeah, no, I love it. My wife and I started doing like day dates. We live in Whatcom County, just up Highway 9. And, so we'll like spend the day and, go to La Conner or go to Anacortes or go snowshoeing up the North Cascades. And like, I don't know, you can feel like you actually got away, even though it's just like 8 hours of breaking your normal routine. And yeah, I think that's awesome.
Yeah. No, so yeah, we went to Barnes & Noble. I saw your book, flipped through it, and then I looked at the back and I was like, oh, it's Instagram. So I wrote you and I said, do you want to be on my podcast? You said yes, like immediately. And I was like, this is a great weekend. I have finished the book. It's great. I have to say, though, my favorite part is the beginning when you wrote down, I wish I could remember. It was something about how it was almost like an apology to the reader and how your editor asked you to or suggested that you change some things and you said no. And you were apologizing to the reader for that.
Yeah, well, how it went is so probably nobody, anybody listening to this podcast probably hasn't stumbled upon my book yet, although I have sold a lot of copies in Skagit County. It's one of those things where they give me, I send out the transcript to the editor and they go, okay, and he sends me back this like marked up, it's like high school English nightmare, right? It's just
Red pen.
Red pen. And actually, my high school English teacher, she got a lot of credit in the introduction because she always said the red pen was love, right? But this was like, it's almost worse for my brain because it's, it was in Microsoft Word and there's just like arrows going off and all these little boxes and blah, blah, blah. And I didn't even respond to him for like 30 days. And I finally replied, I go, I can't do anything with this. Like, it's literally making me claustrophobic. I cannot. He goes, okay. And Eric was great, very kind through the whole thing. And so I send him, he goes, okay, here. And he gives me like all these paragraphs of like, here's what you do. And so I went through them, which each piece in the book. So people that haven't seen my book, it's each chapter is essentially its own piece. It's got some quotes, poem, and then a story with some sort of lesson at the end. A lot of like self-deprecating humor and that sort of thing in there. And so I went through and some of the input he gave me I thought was spot on, and I would, do some revisions. Some I go, he's right, but I don't have anything else to say. I'm not changing this piece. I'm just going to delete it. And then other pieces, I was like, nope, that's it. So I send him back the thing. And he goes, oh, okay. And then he sends me back a totally edited version that he had taken liberties with. And yeah, I just took that version, threw it in the garbage and said, sorry, if it's not my voice, it's not getting published. And my reasoning for that is, one, I wrote it. I didn't know if anybody else would read this book. I want my daughter to read it and know that it's, my voice. And the other thing is I wasn't like a good English student. I could barely read, getting into high school, couldn't write. And, I want people to, if they have something to say, write it down. However you write, however it goes, you just follow your passion and do it. And feel like there'd be a lot more awesome stuff out there in the world if people just went for it. So that's what I wanted to do, was put it out. And actually, probably the version you have, there is a newer transcript with just a few typos and punctuation stuff cleaned up that my mom took the liberties of marking up a book for and handing
Really?
over. Yeah. And so,
Was it a couple spelling mistakes near the end?
yeah,
I noticed that.
Yeah. So there was one. So there was some spelling mistakes during the end, and then there was like the printing was just weird in like one of them, and like
Okay.
like the font got weird on like a few, and there was just like random, and like the way my brain works, I can read it and I would never notice a spelling error. So,
Is that just because it's your work? Like if you were reading someone else's work, would you notice it?
yeah, if I'm reading somebody else's work, there's a better chance I will, but I still can't spell. And so, I mean, I would read it and be like, I don't think that word is spelled right, but I wouldn't call them out until I checked.
That's actually how I got an editing job once. This woman would post these really long, meaningful to her pieces about raising children and religion, and you could just tell she loved it. And I knew that it was really important to her that this message got out, and I knew that there were people like me who would stumble on a couple of the mistakes. So I would write her right away and say, hey, redo that one slide.
Well,
And so I did it again and again. And finally, when she wrote her first novel, she asked me to edit it.
that's awesome. It's really nice when you post stuff digitally and then you find the error and you can email the editor real quick and get it fixed. Once it's in print, it's,
That's hard.
it's there.
I was going back to what you said about how when he first sent you all the marks and the errors, you didn't respond for 30 days. What was that 30 days like? Were you like in a little bit of a depression, or did you just like push it out and just move on with something else?
Well, it was like one of those things where I tried to go back to it a couple times, but literally I'd like start working on it and just like feel claustrophobic, couldn't get anywhere. And so it was a combination of me not knowing what to do. I've never written a book before. I never published a book before. So me not knowing what to do and then being nervous about telling him that like, I know I hired you to do this, but I want you to do it differently. So yeah, it was like a combination, and I was excited to get it published, and I was like holding things up, and the whole process did get a little elongated. But I think that's just is what it is. It took as long as it
Yeah.
needed to take, I guess.
Well, the reason why that story stuck out to me. So I started a local writers group. I just through interviewing lots of people, I realized a lot of people have words in their head, and they're not getting them out, myself included. And so I said, "That's it. We're gonna meet at the library once a month and just write. That's it. And if that's the only time you write, great. If that encourages you to write more, great." So someone joined, and I didn't know she was writing a book. Thought that was pretty cool. When I started posting about the writing meetings, she said she rented an Airbnb by herself, and she wrote for like the entire weekend. So I just love the fact that even us just talking about writing and publishing a book is going to inspire someone out there to like start, And the fact that like they might get a manuscript back with a whole bunch of X's and they're going to go, "Nope, Tony's stuck to his guns, so
Well, and
I'm going to too."
And I can relate to that. I actually have another book in quotes that I wrote. It's not super long piece. I don't know if it's 20 or 30,000 words, but it's kind of like a.
What's a typical book? Like, what's your book? How many words is it? Do you remember?
Mine might be like 60,000, or maybe the finished was 60,000. It was longer.
So
but
50, 60 is like an average.
But even
on
that's
the
kind of
smaller
short.
side.
Mine's a couple hundred pages, but the way mine is with the quotes and the poems, like it's more pages
Right.
as a result. So, it wouldn't be uncommon to have a 100,000, page book or
Oh,
whatever.
wow.
Or not 100,000 page, 100,000 words.
Yeah.
But so I wrote this, and it's this story. It's called Shiny Objects, and it's and it's like a business book, right? And there's these two people that one, going through kind of at the same time in parallel, they're operating their businesses and going through life and family and doing these things, and they meet each other, and one of them is like super hyper, all over the place, shiny objects, right? And then the other one's like more conservative and really analyzes things and is calm and, more in their own head and focused.
Is this about you, Melissa?
Funny that you say that.
I've been listening to your podcast.
Okay,
A lot.
well, I appreciate that. No, I didn't even know Melissa yet when I wrote this. So I wrote it and I gave it to a couple of people, and one of the people I gave it to read goes, "Is this about you and your brother?" And we've been business partners, and so actually it was our banker that I gave it to, Rhea, who was on the podcast, and
I listened to that one too.
yeah, and I go, no, no, it's both me, and which is funny that everybody only sees my like hyper side, and they don't see this like side of me where I'm waking up at 5 a.m. and writing quietly, or thinking about, an investment or something at work or whatever from 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. And, something will be presented to me and people see me as like impulsive, but really I've like thought that thing to death, and so, so basically the feedback I got is there needs to be more. And I'm like, well, I don't really have anything else to say. So I've been debating returning to it. I reread it actually recently, and I'm like, I don't know, like it kind of is what it is. Thinking I could write like a piece to go with it to like discuss, the different personalities and the way they approach things. And so I might do that. I just haven't gotten excited to write. I mean, I have so many writing projects that are in different phases that one, it just hasn't got me excited lately, but maybe I'll return to it at some point.
I was just thinking, do you draw? How about a comic book?
Okay.
That could be dragged out into several pages.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
No, I'm a horrible artist, but have you listened to the episode about Ducktown Weekly?
Is that one of the latest ones? I think you said
So-
like a cartoonist.
Yeah, well, so Ducktown Weekly is this newspaper that started I should have brought you a copy. Started in Washington, D.C., or the guy's based out of Washington, D.C., and it's just 7 days worth of comics. And then there's like a few other things. There's like, there's crossword puzzles, and there's like a thing about birds in the national parks. And I just stumbled upon, I'm like, this is fantastic. It's just the funny pages. And then we just had one of the comics that's in there on the show. I would love to create a comic. I've actually just been thinking, like, I got to go to the library and get a book on drawing comics. I tried to get my wife to draw it. So Steve Martin has a book. It's like, I think it's called The Wealth of Pigeons.
Oh.
And it's a comic book. It's kind of like Far Side. It's all one frame. But his friend drew the comics and then sent him the pictures. And then Steve Martin would write the joke.
Oh.
And it's it's so great. And so that's really what I want is, so if there any of your listeners wants to start a comic strip that wants to just draw the cartoon.
That's funny.
Yeah. So anyways.
Yeah. No, I read a book about this woman who worked in the oil sands in Alberta, like her experience. And it's crazy. I think it's very typical, a typical story for a woman working up there. And it was all in comic strip form. It was
awesome.
super thick too. But you think about it, if she would have written that story out, it's probably 30,000 words. You know? So kind of interesting.
And I've been digging deeper into like this is 2025 was kind of like my year of comics. I discovered that, cartoons, but then my brother's really into comics and buys tons of, I don't know what his comic habit is, but he's got like all these subscriptions. And once he's not like a collector though. So as soon as he gets them, he's done with that comic and he just puts it in a box. And it was just like sitting in his storage container and he was worried they're going to get ruined. I'm like, well, I'll store them for you. So I have all these comics. And so I've been reading and he's got the Marvel and the DC and then all these just like tons of the random ones that, and so the plan is I'm going to read them. And then my daughter, who's 13 now, I figure when she gets into high school, she can like sell them all and she can like split the money with my brother.
That's a good plan.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Harper.
Harper. My daughter's name's Olive. She's also 13.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I've heard
I
you talk
understand what
about
you're
it.
going through.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I know.
Lots of good days.
Lots of good days.
Yep.
And then some days you're surprised at the responses.
Where did my little sweet daughter go?
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
No, I was when you said that you have a lot of writing projects on the go, I might be able to beat you. So I'm writing a book right now about my life story. I feel like whenever I share tidbits here and there, people are like, what? You did that? And I like working overseas, like teaching overseas. I've only been to Korea a couple of times and I went to the Middle East as well. And I meet people who have gone to 20 countries. So for me, it doesn't seem like a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I've run several 50-mile races and a 100-mile or two. And again, to someone who doesn't run, that's like unreal. But I have friends who win 200-mile races. So again, I'm like, no. Like, look at them. So the more I sort of do this podcast and tell a few stories here and there, I think, yeah, I don't really want to do like a podcast on myself. And you were talked about in a podcast recently about how your book is mainly for your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Like you want her to know your stories and how you speak. And I feel like that's basically the reasoning behind mine too. My mom passed away when she was 46 and I'll be 46 next month. And so it's really got me thinking like, man, that's like when I started this 3 years ago, I remember thinking like, that'd be really cool to have some recordings of her. I don't have any, And so Olive will have multiple hours of just my voice and someone else.
Yeah.
She's been on the podcast a few times. And then also she'll have this book as well. So it kind of takes some pressure off, like, hey, it's not going to be a bestseller. I'm just doing it for my daughter. Cool if people buy it, but there's that. So that's one thing I'm working on. Also with the podcast, I want to make like a coffee table book. I'm not saying I'm going to, or I want to. I will. I am in the process of making a coffee table book. So basically like it'll be like a big picture of a guest and then like a quote, one of my favorite quotes from their episode. So I have like 20 pages of that. And then the other day, one of my guests, my friend Pete, he came over because Spencer's in one of his bands and they were playing and Pete brought over some soup. It was really good. So, oh, Pete, where'd you get this from? He said, oh, Tim gave it to me, one of our other friends and a guest on the podcast. I said, that's it. I'm going to do a Skagit Storyteller's cookbook.
I love that.
So I got a cookbook, a coffee table book, my life story. And then my daughter and I are constantly thinking of children's books to do. I feel like if you ever break into the children's books genre, you're gonna have lots of fun with that.
I appreciate it. I have two children's books in progress.
What else?
I have a book called Stories About Stories that I'm actually quite a ways into. And it's so I write for a few different publications pretty regularly. Mount Baker Experience every quarter, and Welcome Talk, and Southside Living, and a few others. And so, but I do a lot of outdoor writing. And I was looking at all these different stories I have, and I was looking at the map, and I've got like up to Diablo, and hanging out at Diablo, and a couple hikes up there, and snowshoeing, and hiking down to the dam, and then going up Highway 9. There's some hikes, and then up towards Mount Baker, and then out onto like Lummi Island, and along the coast, and then down to Skagit. I did an article on like a few different places down here, and then I did 2 big projects for Jefferson County Tourism and Grace Harbor Tourism, and then I also did at least one other article on like where like Lake Crescent is and the waterfall. And I go, man, there's really just like this nice little, and so it's kind of the behind the scenes stories of writing those stories, because the story is the story, but there's always more to the story, and it's usually far less graceful than, the polished version and all the different pieces that went into it. But then also a little bit more information to elaborate. And so it's kind of an outdoor travel guide for this region, but also really just more of like something to accompany you on that trip. So yes, there's spots you could go. You could go to do these hikes. It tells you, how to get there or whatever. But it's really just like this companion as you're traveling through these areas to read. And I think people do that when you're like in a cabin, renting a place up in Glacier, or you're camping, at Colonial Creek, or, whatever it is. So yeah, I'm working on that one. And then I've got a few more. The Drip Trickle Flow Flood book. Melissa and I are going to really actively start working on that.
Yeah, I think in one episode I listened to, you said you were going to start focusing on it more in the new year.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's the new year.
Yeah. And so we have a day scheduled to start really hashing that out. And I have a pretty good outline, and I have a start to a book that was super boring, and that's where Melissa comes in, because she's anything but boring, her writing.
Yeah.
So.
Talk about like shiny objects. This is more bouncing around than I usually do. So to go back, so I met you at my house. I first discovered you in December at Barnes & Noble. But in that time, I finished your book. And then also I did notice on your Instagram, you talked about freelance writing a bit. But really, it was like listening to your podcast. I was like, oh, wow, like there's so many more questions I have and things that I think that everyone needs to listen to. I feel like some people might not go, oh, I don't want to hear a money podcast. It's never just about money, Just like I think a lot of things in life always overlap. And so, I just thought it'd be really cool to talk about your podcast too. So in your podcast, you talked about how you and Melissa were actually you wanted her to help you write a book together, but then that's how the podcast started, because you needed content for the book.
Yeah. So I was about 20,000 words into Drip Trickle Flow Flood, the book. And I'm kind of a financial nerd. I've just always been into it. And so it was the nuts and bolts, right? It was basically bullet points. I mean, it was more than that, but
some poems, some quotes.
I didn't have any of that. I probably could use some of that, but it was just like, and it wasn't bullet points, like it was all written out, but it was boring, I thought. And so Melissa's husband and I are friends, Gary. And so I started talking to him about this idea I had, Drip Trickle Flow Flood, just how I frame money. And he goes, that's cool. And he and Melissa kind of started using this as the model for their finances. So I knew she was into it. And I've read her books, and, and just knew that she's, a good writer and an interesting writer. And so I go, you want to write this book with me? She goes, yeah, but let's start a podcast first. And then we'll have some other things that we can put in the book. And then maybe someone will actually buy the book and all those things. I go, oh, okay, I don't know how to do a podcast. She goes, well, I do. So we just started. That was April, and we do Yeah, one a week. So I think we're like 40 in or something.
Does she have her own podcast that she does on her own?
I think she does have another. I should know the answer to that. Yeah, I think she has another podcast
Put
that she
you on the
does with
spot.
somebody else. I have never listened to it. Sorry, Melissa.
Is your do you guys do it over Zoom?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I wasn't sure. It sounds really good.
Thank you.
That was my concern with I only do in person. That was my concern with over Zoom. I just didn't think it would sound good. But I've also never tried. So.
Well, I mean, sometimes there is, and we've had one episode where the one person, he was kind of quiet, and then I don't know if you listened to this episode or not, but I don't know, 8 episodes again or so ago, I realized that I had a microphone 6 feet away from me that I hadn't been using, and I was just using this Microsoft Surface mic the whole time. And Melissa's just like, "Oh my gosh, who am I dealing with here?"
I do. You guys have a really good rapport. Like, I feel like you both have different things to, offer. One of the ones I was listening to this morning, it caught my eye, and we'll get into this because I was thinking about, the new year, thinking about, okay, like, what can I improve? I'm always looking to improve something. And I've always been curious about monetizing this podcast, but there's so many things that always stop me. And you guys were talking about getting like auto-generated ads in the middle of your podcast. And she was explaining about how, someone was talking about health, and then suddenly there was like an ad for a diet pill.
Right, yeah.
And you were like, let's go for it. She's like,
Yeah.
So
we haven't done
like,
it yet.
Let's just try it just a couple times and see what happens. And because I'm definitely like both of those people, like, oh, I don't want to do that, but also be really funny to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious. If nothing else, we'll probably make like 30 cents or something. And so I don't know. She has a friend that is gonna try it and then report back, I guess. So, but she actually, she's talking to some people that maybe will end up sponsoring the podcast. That really what we want to do is find, if we're going to get sponsors, we want them to be in line with, kind of the mission of the podcast, and, neither one of us are interested in having something sponsor us that we don't feel like would represent us and what we're trying to get across.
I was thinking about it'd be really cool to have a sponsor like Pokey Oasis because I love going there.
Yeah.
Well, what if I could say 10% off if you mention Sketch and Story
Yeah, I think
Sellers?
that's great.
I don't really need to make money. I just want some free stuff.
Yeah, well, and let me put a caveat by it. Now, if the number's really big, maybe I'll...
I want to be like sponsored by Arco Gas.
Yeah.
So then we get a discount.
Yeah.
No, I love too that you guys are selling merch.
Yep.
That's great. Who do you go through? Like, how do you sell your merch?
So this is the guest that you said you have asked people to come on your podcast and haven't gotten them to come on. This person has said no to date. It's my wife. She has a screen printing business called the Print House Design.
Oh, she does?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And so she does all our printing, yet to come on the podcast.
Maybe she'll come on mine.
Yeah, she might come on yours. I mean,
and then I'll say, I just have to go out for a second, and then you slip in the room.
I don't think, and actually, not only has she refused to come on so far, she hasn't listened to a single episode.
What?
I think she hears enough of my voice. But I'll get her on. She's very entrepreneurial, very creative. We've had businesses together. The Print House, I mean, aside from delivery boy, it's her thing.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'll have to check her out. I do like the fact that you guys have a lot of different people on. Like at first when I would hear like, oh, it's a money podcast, like you had your banker on, I was like, okay. But then you have like just random like people on that they might not seem like they're like into money. But I think what your podcast also is I think you mentioned this in your first couple episodes. It might have been the first one. That idea that you might have said this when you were younger. You said that you wanted to retire.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just, as soon as you
That's
can.
the only thing I ever wanted to do.
Yeah, I just want to retire. But then as you realize it later on, like retirement isn't not doing anything, at least for you. Retirement just means like you just want to do what you want to do. You don't want to answer to someone else. And I think that's awesome. I think that some people get that confused. And so when you're doing the thing that, I wouldn't even say that you want to do, the thing that you're meant to do, Like, I think that's really important. I'm reading this book right now called, it might just be called Finish or Give Yourself the Gift of Finishing. I forget who the author is, but he said that he talked about how important it was to like get that thing out of you that you're supposed to get out. And someone asked Stephen King once what he would have done if he wasn't a writer. And he said he would probably die of alcoholism at the age of 50. He would probably be divorced. And he said a lot of people are extremely unhappy because they're not using their talent. And I think that happens a lot in life. So it's like your podcast is about money, but it's also about like doing your thing and then, you know, being reimbursed for it.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, and the reality is there's money podcasts that are like, I mean, there's like Planet Money, or there's, you know, On the Market, where they're talking about real estate. And there's like, you know, and I listen to those podcasts. I like getting that information, but the reality is everybody's into money, right? I mean, everybody's, even if they're not, they're kind of forced to be, right? You've got to be into money on some level. You got to eat. And so I don't think Melissa and I envisioned this when we first started, but it really has turned into that. Yeah. What's this person's money world like? But yeah, then we always do go beyond that into, you know, why are you doing this? How did you start doing this? And the creativity that people have it's incredible. I mean, it's awesome to listen to these people talk about all the different things they do. And I'm like taking notes and like learning from them. And it's really cool. We recorded a podcast. We did 3 episodes today, but one of them was an interview. And she goes, yeah, I was starting this blog and I didn't exactly know what to do. So I just figured I'd just, you know, throw all my thoughts at the wall and see what's like. I think that I might be saying it incorrectly, but it was like, what a great vision. Like, and she just went for it. And, you know, like with your podcast, right? You're just like, all right, well, I'm going to start talking to people and see where it goes.
Yeah. And the thing, what I think a lot of people forget is like, I mean, you know, not to toot my own horn, but this is a pretty cool little studio. You know, not the most expensive mics in the world, but like pretty good setup. I started with a cheap laptop and literally like a mic that plugged in to the USB. And I use like, if you go on your computer and you type in recording, like that app that's on there, that's what I used. And it kept, when my computer went to sleep, every 5 minutes, it would stop recording. And I didn't know that. So my friend Tess and I are sitting in my bedroom and I'm trying to like get this going. And she's so sweet. She's really trying so hard to like make it work. Yeah. And I mean, I wouldn't even know what to do with this if I was given it, you know? And so my husband and I were talking about how, yeah, this is like kind of awesome that we're making money now. I think if I were making this money when I was 20, whew, it would have been bad.
Yeah.
So it's like, finally I'm trusted with, you know, using it appropriately. And you know, I see, you know, always hear stories of the rich kids and they just blow everything because they don't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So my whole idea of just doing what I want, honestly, that didn't dawn on me till maybe it's been 5 years ago now or something. Well, that's maybe hard to believe because that would have been like COVID. I don't know. Anyways, I'm sitting in a coffee shop with my buddy and he goes, yeah, my mom just quit her job and she's like a couple years away from retirement and she's just sick of it. And she got a job at Starbucks and she just loves it. And she's going to have to work a few more days or a few more years, you know, to like make up the difference. But she like loves what she's doing and it's a blast. And I go, well, what a novel idea. Like doing work that you love doing and then it doesn't feel like work. So my goal of working towards just retirement, that's probably why 100% is why I was so into finance and money, is because I was just like trying to solve this riddle of how do you retire early and working very hard to try to achieve that. And then, yeah, sitting there with my buddy, I go, oh, well, now I'll probably work forever. Like I don't ever want to retire, right? I just want to do what I want to do. And it's pretty freeing, really, to like have that mentality. And that's what's been awesome about, you know, I've been meeting people and talking to different people in the podcast, but just also, I don't know, as you change your mentality, it seems like when you're talking to people, different things come out. And I'm like discovering all these people that are doing these things they love and like following, they're making a living off of it or whatever it is. And it's really, really cool to see.
Yeah. One of the other, we mentioned my daughter's books, and before you came over, I was thinking I was going to make a list of all the drip, trickle, I wouldn't even say floor flood, just the drips that I have. And the one thing I was laughing at was the books. So we publish on just Kindle Direct Publishing.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't COVID. Oh, do you know who David Goggins is?
Yeah.
Okay, so he does, I don't know if you know this challenge he does called the 4x4x48.
I don't know. I've read one or two of his books, but what's...
Oh, it's not a book. It's just...
Well, right, but he wrote a couple books.
Yeah. He has
So
Never Stop, I think. No, Can't Stop Me and Never Finish.
I mean, that guy's amazing.
Yeah. My one of my friends, he's going to come on the podcast, he got 6th at the Moab 240.
Oh my gosh.
I think Goggins beat him. And then my other friend, he lives in Woolley, he got, I think it was 5th or 6th as well. And I think at one point, like, he ran with Goggins for a couple hours. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But so we do on Kindle Direct Publishing and
wait, tell me what the 40/48.
Oh yeah, so the reason how I even discovered this, I just think it's really amazing. Like, as you were saying, when I'm doing this podcast, I'm meeting all these people, it's like all this other stuff starts cropping up. And I think that sometimes people think that they're going to be sitting in a chair and then inspiration is just going to hit them and they'll be like, oh, that's my next step. That's not how it works. So I was doing the 4x4x48. So it's 4 miles. So you run 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours.
Oh, yeah. I have heard of that.
And so obviously you modify it. Like, apparently one guy would just get out of bed and lay back down, get out of bed for 45 minutes. And then he would wait for 3 hours and 15 minutes and then do it again. He lost a ton of weight. So I did that. And my last round, I couldn't go out. I was like gonna fall over. Like, because I had to drive to the trail and it was literally 10 seconds down the road. I couldn't. And I said, I'm just gonna do the last 4 miles on the bike. I'll just bike for 45 minutes. So I was on the bike and I was trying to stay awake. And so I just went on YouTube and I think a random video just came up and it talked about KDP publishing or making books or something like that. And I was like, what's that? And then I found a podcast. I started listening to it. And then I thought, wait, I'm buying all these coloring pages from this teacher store. Why don't I just get a drawing tablet and then make my own so I can save money there? But then I was like, but wait, I can put all those drawings into a book. And my daughter was drawing a lot. And I was like, hey, Olive, what if we like made your drawing into like a shirt? There's like this, way we can put on a t-shirt. It's really easy. And she's like, okay. And so I was thinking of all this stuff while on the last mile. So I'm like hallucinating basically. And I'm coming up with like one of the biggest ideas that started so many things. I just thought that was really cool. Like, again, sitting there in a chair, it's probably not going to hit you. I actually find that on my runs, I think of the best things to do. So I started thinking about direct publishing. So we did, I did my coloring book. So I just made pages for my kids to color, my students. And then I just made it into a book, published it. And then when Olive got sick, I was like, well, you can't be physical right now while you're going through this. So we have to do something creative. That pickle book that you wrote, let's do the same thing I did with my coloring book. And so we digitized it and made it into a book, and it was amazing. And it's so funny because it was years ago, and I think this is common knowledge. And I'll meet people and they'll go, what? You can publish a book online? There's 1,000 things that I don't know now about finances, about income streams, which is like why I really love your podcast, because you guys really dip into so many things. And obviously you and Melissa don't have 1,000 things that you do, but you bring in guests and they, drop some ideas in. And I just think it's amazing. It's like it's like a flood of ideas. And like you said, as you're doing it, you're writing down ideas too.
Yeah. It's been a blast. And, Yeah, we don't do 1,000 things between the two of us. We do a lot. I have a no problem.
Saying no.
Yeah, and I'm like really easily excitable. So I'll just like get an idea out on a run, or I'm all about it. Like you break your routine. I think it's one of the pieces in the book. It's like break your routine to get creative. And yeah, but it's dangerous for me because next thing you know, I'm off like starting a business or writing a new book, or I've got other podcast ideas. It's just like, where do you end?
Oh yeah, Spencer and I are going to start a golf podcast.
Yeah, that's fun.
And well, we also have a weekly radio show, and I love it. I think it's amazing. I just started reading a book called The Music Shop. It's a fiction book, which I don't normally read fiction. Now I want to open up a record shop.
I really want to have a bookstore.
Yeah.
But I want to have a mobile one, or like a trailer, so something that I'm not paying rent. That way I can just open it up when I want to.
Why don't you buy the building?
Well, you still have to like buy the building, but then it's still like costing you money to sit there. And I know some bookstores make money. I've learned a lot about independent bookstores, being an independent author, and both are a really challenging business. And so I want to have no overhead, essentially, so that I can just open the doors when I want. People come buy books, and then I can close the door, batten the hatches back down.
So speaking of your book, how did you get your book in Barnes & Noble? So I guess how did you go from like, I want to write a book, to actually getting it in stores? The book that I'm reading about finishing, they talk about how when you see the finish line in sight, that's actually like the worst part. That's when you suddenly go, no, it's not good enough, and you rip it apart. He had this story about someone building a boat, and once he was almost finished, he was actually really scared of the ocean, so he would just take the boat apart because he was like, well, when I'm done, I have to sail, and I actually don't really want to sail in that water. So I think for a lot of people, yes, it's hard to write, but one of the hardest parts that people don't really talk about is that finished piece. So how do you go from your editor going, here, make all these changes, to getting it into a store?
So when I was going down the road of writing the book, I was like, okay, do I just do it through KDP? I like reached out to literary agents who didn't get back to me because they're like, who are you? And I talked to Melissa, and she goes, well, just do it yourself. It's super easy. But
Was she talking about Kindle as well, or?
yeah, so she does a lot of stuff. I mean, her books are basically available everywhere, but she does a lot of KDP stuff. And I had a friend who had published a book, and I was talking to him about it. And so that's where I ended up. And I talked to like Village Books. Village Books will help you publish a book up in Fairhaven. But you need all these pieces that I didn't know. You need an editor. You need a cover layout designer. You need a page layout designer, and then you still got to like get your, what's it called? My brain's slipping a little bit here, but you get like your number for.
Oh, the ISBN
the
number?
ISBN number. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get your ISBN number. So like all this list of things, I'm just like, I'm learning myself better as I get older. And I was like, that's so many steps. And so I ended up going with the guy that my friend went with, which is Skinny Brown Dog Media. And so he's editor, he has in-house cover design. And so I paid him for all these services. So he helped me get it on Amazon and do all that stuff, and then get it on Barnes & Noble. And so Amazon and Barnes & Noble, Amazon prints my book themselves. They have their own printing presses now, because I guess why wouldn't they? Barnes & Noble, I think, buys it from Ingram if you buy it online. So I was able to do that. To get it in the store, and so I don't know how in the weeds, you can edit some of this out if you want, but like how in the weeds you want to get. But so Ingram Sparks, they're like the biggest, book printing thing in the United States, probably the world. And so get your book printed from them, and all these independent booksellers, and like Barnes & Noble buys their books from Ingram. Well, if you're not selling enough books, they don't keep your books just sitting in a warehouse, so they're print on demand. And so the margins that they give the booksellers and the authors is garbage. And so I would go to the bookstores. I go, hey, will you carry my book? And they look up how much they'd make, and they go, no, sorry, the margins aren't good enough. So I go, well, will you consign my book? And people have been saying yes to that. So that's why I'm like in that local authors section of Barnes and Noble. I guess maybe even if I wasn't. But so I'm consigning with them. So I buy the book, bring them in there, they sell it, and like every quarter they cut me a check. And then I'm in a bunch of other. So I'm in Watermark Books in Anacortes, and I'm in Seaport Books in LaConner, and Wild Hemlock in Anacortes, and few other little stores. I got one in Wenatchee now. And so I just take my books anywhere I go, and I walk in, I go, hey, will you sell my book? And some people go, oh, I don't know. And actually there's a place down in Stevens, Washington. It's right by Hood River. And I walked in, and the lady goes, who are you? You're like kind of local, not really. And I go, what if I just leave you my book? And if it sells, then I can send you more copies. If not, read it, throw it, whatever you want to do. Give it to somebody.
You gave her one book?
I gave her one book. She wouldn't take any more, And I go, here, take the book. And if it sells, she emailed me like a week later. She goes, your book sold. I'm like, yeah, because of the cover. And so the store was like closed for a while, but I need to reach back out to her. She's back open. So I'm going to send her some copies, hopefully. And anytime I go somewhere, I just bring books with me. And so it's hard though. Selling the book is harder than writing the book was. And I'm not good at self-promotion. I actually recently hired somebody to help me like redo my website and make sure my social media looks good. She goes, why don't you have a banner ad on your LinkedIn account? I go, I don't know. I never thought of doing that, And so just all the things.
Things you don't know.
Things I don't know.
Yeah,
and
it's not like you're not doing them. You just don't know about them at all.
And it's just like, you don't know what you don't know. It doesn't even dawn on me. Like, why? I don't care if somebody has a banner ad on their LinkedIn page. Why would they care if I had one? But she's like, well, you'll look a lot more professional. I'm like, oh.
You're like, why don't you have any yard games at your house?
Yeah, why don't you have any yard games at your house? Why don't you have 100 yard games at your house? Weirdo.
Do you have a yard games book?
So that's how this all. That's how the yard game thing started. If we're gonna go down this rabbit hole, you better.
I was gonna say, so we got your book. We talked about that. I didn't know there was like consignment options for books. I've heard about consignment clothing stores.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird to think that Barnes and Noble is a consignment bookstore.
Yeah,
that's
and,
crazy, huh? That
so
makes money, yeah. And so you have your podcast, your book, and so people who don't know you, like how do all the yard games fit into you?
So again, how far back? I like majored in foosball in college. Not really, but I played a lot of foosball. I've just always liked playing. That was part of I want to retire, just be retired. Like my plan was to be the Toys R Us kid. I don't want to grow up, And that was just my thing. And I just always, I love competing. I like sports. I coach sports. I still play sport. I'm just very competitive. But like not everybody wants to like get their sweat on or whatever. And so I started off getting like game room games. I'm like, I love game room games. So like foosball, and I got this awesome pool table out of this house we were remodeling. They're like, there's a pool table in the basement where you can crunch it with the house, or you can have it. And it's like this awesome, like 1930s Brunswick. It's like so sweet.
It was in the basement?
Yeah. And so, it was a really nice house. Not like it was a wet basement or something, but like, yeah. So I have that. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm just like into game room games. Right. And so got like an old darts from, like some bar, and Papa Shot, and shuffleboard table that I picked up off Craigslist. And then I ran out of room, and I kind of live in the middle of nowhere. And so to get people to come over to my house to play games, they come sometimes, but they're not coming all the time. And so then I started like finding some yard games. You got like cornhole, and then I bought this game called Bullseye Bucket, which is super fun. And then you got, Can Jam, and, whatever. So you're playing these games, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. And I was just like slowly discovering a few games. So I don't know, maybe I had 15, probably about 15 yard games. I don't know. So I had a few obscure ones, most of the, ladder ball ones that everybody knows. And COVID hits, and I go, you know what I'm going to do? Because I've got tons of yard games. I'm just going to start posting pictures of my yard games and that'll be fun during COVID because everybody's just sitting around sad. And so I started posting, and within I think I had 15 followers at the time. I still don't even have very many. People started offering to send me their games. I'm like, what? I'm nobody. And then they're asking me to be in these virtual tournaments. And then I was on a yard game podcast. And then I started making friends with these people in the yard game community, in quotes, just kind of tight knit. And I just started now my algorithm is showing me more games. And so I'm buying these games and I'm like, look at all these vintage games. And so I start buying those. And then I started finding there'd be these games that I didn't buy and then I can't find them anymore. I'm like, what? I missed out on that game. And then I have games that, I can't find another copy of it. And I'm like, well, now if I see a game, I have to buy it. And my wife's like, why is there another box at the front door? And fortunately, yard games are fairly inexpensive. So, and so then I'm like, okay, well, now what I want to do is I wanted to do a documentary on yard games. And I was talking to some people. I got some friends that do documentaries, and they're like, well, every documentary loses money, and you're going to fly around the country filming all this stuff. How much money you got? I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not going to do that one. I'm like, okay, I'll do a yard game coffee table book. And still plan on doing that. Stoked on the idea.
We should release our coffee table books in the same day.
Okay, I like it.
We'll have an event.
Yeah. And so
Barnes and Noble.
Yeah. And so I've been working on it. Or I was working on it, and I'd take pictures and write some things on the yard games. And I'm like, this is taking me a long time because I have a lot of things going. I basically started my writing career almost the same day that I started the Yard Game Nation thing. And I've put a lot more energy into writing than into Yard Game Nation. But then, I don't know, 2 years ago, I was like, you know what? I have all these games. I have all this stuff I've started writing. I'm just going to launch the website so that at least people can learn about these games. So yardgamenation.com is alive and ready. I don't make any money off of it. It's just up there. People can find the games. And I actually have written a children's book about yard games. And it's yes, it's about yard games, but it's also about getting out and playing with your friends and family. And then it's games from all over. So, you can learn geography. But I wrote the whole thing rhyming.
Oh, really?
And I'm talking too much. The battery is dying on the laptop.
No, keep talking.
And so I wrote the whole thing rhyming, and I just reread it, and I think it's horrible. So I'm going to rewrite it without it rhyming. And I think it will be a far better book.
Sorry. Oh my gosh, I gave it.
We can't. Obviously you can edit this out if you want, but right now Liz is on the ground plugging in the laptop.
Oh, don't get me started. Okay, Control X, save. Woo! Saved it. Okay, that's a first. See, and this is why we don't have video.
Yeah.
For this podcast, I've thought about it.
Is it recording now?
Oh, it's fine. Yeah.
Oh.
I've thought about doing video because I think that on YouTube, speaking of monetization, I think that would probably, increase viewership and obviously monetization. But I feel like it would just distract me. It would be a different podcast.
It is a lot. I mean, we've talked about that too. And actually, we talked about it from day one. And it's just a whole nother step. And it's just all these other things.
Well, see, I feel like for Zoom, though, it'd be way easier.
It'd be easier, but you got to do your hair or something. And, and then the guest has got to worry about being on film. And so we might at some point do that. Melissa and I are both good at starting. And I think that that's something that a lot of people aren't good at is they overthink, they overplan, where Melissa and I are all right. When she was like, you want to do a podcast? I said yes. And I mean, I think it was a week later we were doing a podcast. Not prepared, didn't really know what we were doing. And we're just kind of feeling our way through it. And so, yeah, maybe we'll do video, maybe not. But that was just the lowest barrier of entry. Because we well, do we go to a studio? Do we rent a studio? Do we build a studio? What are the things? And all of those things are still on the table. I appreciate you saying that the audio quality is good. There definitely are some moments where the audio quality lacks. I think the audio quality of your podcast is better than ours. Your setup is far better than ours. So, we definitely can step our game up, but then you're still dealing, since our guests are from all over.
Yeah, you have a way bigger pool as
Yeah.
well. And you just said that you did 3 podcasts today?
Yeah, we recorded 3. So we did 1 interview and we did 2 solo episodes.
Oh, wow. I mean, that takes time.
Probably my first business, or if you want to call it that, was we went to Mexico, and when I was in junior high, and there was, they were selling all these fake Oakley glasses. So I bought a bunch and came back to school and sold all these fake Oakleys. And like everybody knew they were fake, but I bought them for like $3 and sell them for like 10 or 15.
Yeah.
And that was.
Okay, 2 more ideas for you I was just thinking about that I've thought of in the past. I'm like, ooh, you're the perfect person to bring this up with. How about vending machines? Have you thought about that? Have you done it? Oh, you're laughing.
Yeah. So I don't know that I don't think I've ever actually published this post. I think I've written it. Maybe I published it years ago, but it's called Vending Machines Cheaper Than Business School. And yeah, so I'll tell you the vending machine story. So must have been 2021-ish. And I don't know which one of us saw the thing, but me and my buddy, we've been friends since we were 4. He married my wife and I, and we get pretty wound up together and can just start going. And so we were living together at the time, and one of us is like, dude, mint machines. And we go, what? Yeah, mint machines. And you can like buy all these mint machines and put in a quarter, get a mint. And if you buy the mints at Costco, you're making 22 cents a mint. I mean, what a markup, right? And plus you can like put this little this thing on, and like if people scan it for like a trip or something, then you also get like money off of that. That part literally never went anywhere. So we take all these mint machines.
Oh, you bought them?
Oh yeah. We buy them, and it was like this insane thing. So like the mints come in, this guy was supposed to like show up and like help us place them. This dude shows up and he was sketchy. Like really sketchy, like gonna rob us sketchy. And I'm like, where did this guy come from? And he was like a couple days late. And I don't know where he came. And he had this story. He goes, sorry, I'm late. Someone threw a brick off an overpass and went through my windshield, hit me in the face. And I'm like, and you're here 3 days later? Like, you're not dead? So somehow, the internet was a thing. I mean, the internet was definitely, it was like, this was like the early 2000s. So like somehow we were able to like Google this news story and find it. And it happened like 10 years ago or something. And so like this guy's like helping us. Finally, we're just like, all right, you just please leave our life and we'll figure it out. So we like place these mint machines around places. And it was like, people put in a quarter, get a mint. Get in a quarter, get a mint. Well, one thing, mint's jam. And these places that were letting us put our mint machines in there for free do not want to deal with jammed mints. And then you got to like drive around and collect all these quarters and restock the mint. So we hadn't factored in like our time or the gas. And then my buddy goes, yeah, this mint machine, business is great. I'm sure we're going to be millionaires, but I'm heading back to USC. The mint machines are yours. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then, I don't know. I mean, it just went on. Some places went out of business and my mint machine's gone, or like people are like, they don't want mint machine. Anyways, we made some of our money back, not all of it. I still have a couple of the mint machines, and my wife would like them out of our house, but they are a constant reminder of if something is too good to be true, it probably is. And yeah, okay. So there's my mint machine. There's my vending story. What's your next option?
Okay. I really hope you have a story about this because that'd be pretty funny. How about parking lots?
So I haven't ever done it, but so we where our office was in Fairhaven, it's moving, but there's a parking lot there, and people just park there all the time. And we used to like put notes on people's car, asking them to move. And, it's a private parking lot, and it used to be parking was free in Fairhaven, and it's not anymore. Now you got to pay to park. And I'm like, I'm just gonna get some old parking meters, put them out there, and I bet people will put quarters in them. I never have, and now we're gonna lease that space out. So I don't know, maybe the next person will put up some. I actually know someone that had a parking lot though, and I think they made money off of the parking lot. I'm not sure, but the parking lot went way up in value, and he ended up selling it and buying a condo in Hawaii. So
I mean, you think about like if you buy a home and you rent it out, as I know you've done, there's the upkeep of the home and the damage that tenants could do. If someone has a parking lot, how much damage could cars really, if they drive over maybe the bumper things, maybe.
You got to re-gravel the parking lot every 5 years or every couple of years, but or if it's paved, you got to paint some lines.
And there's probably, you were talking about like with the mint machines, like you have to go and like empty them and restock them. So,
but now everything's digital.
But also with the parking though, what if someone parks there and doesn't pay? Who's going to catch them? Like you have to be the one to catch them.
Yeah, it'd have to be or you hire.
So, and then do you have to give them a ticket?
Do you know what I mean? Or you can like get them towed, or you can give them I don't really know how that works.
Maybe you have to like be in like, you have to have a buddy who has a tow truck. There you go. Buy a parking lot and a tow truck.
Yeah.
And then you're just sitting there.
That's smart. And I don't want to poo-poo the vending machine idea. Have you seen the vending machines with like toys in it now?
Yes.
Those are awesome.
Yeah.
I would not recommend something that melts, but toys would be super cool.
Yeah.
Where was it? Oh, I was at a basketball tournament for my daughter's AAU team down in Marysville. And there's like this arcade bar across the street from the hotel. And I go in there, and in the back, there's like vending machine. It's got like, Star Wars action figures and G.I. Joes and stuff. I'm like, this is like the coolest thing ever. Where was this when I was a kid?
So when drunk 40-year-olds.
Yeah. when drunk 40-year-olds are in there,
hey.
like, I had that one when I was a kid. I think I think that's going to be an awesome coffee table.
Oh, it's so cute.
So will it be the pictures from each episode? Like that picture?
So, yeah, like the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Which you'll send me your thumbnail. I'm sure you have a bunch of professional ones.
Me? Actually, no. This person that's helping me with my website, she's
a photographer.
I'm driving her crazy because I'm like, I don't like headshots. I'm like, here's a picture of me in my van.
This is all you got. So this is gonna be the cover. So it's just the typewriter.
Yep.
But then I'll have this is table of contents, my 100+ guests, and then just picture me with like my little tagline I do, and just a picture of my guest and then a quote.
I love it. Am I gonna make the book?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Oh, I wrote an article on him, right?
Bob Peltro?
Yeah.
No way. Was it the sound? The sounds you were talking about?
No, it was. Oh my gosh! So he illustrated a book called. Oh my god!
Wait, Bob did?
He illustrated a book with
Bob sat in that chair and did an interview.
Yeah, with this woman. Oh my gosh! How am I not remembering all this stuff? So she's a musician, and she turned one of her songs into a book, a children's book, and Bob illustrated it, and it's.
Is she a local musician? No.
Yeah, she lives in Fairhaven.
Who is she?
And she's like toured all over the place.
What?
Very talented. I mean, they're both very talented.
I was actually just thinking, I can't believe I've done a whole podcast and I haven't even talked about music at all. And then we just started talking about music. I'll have to ask Bob about that. But my other idea too was, and we had talked about, like you said, you don't make money off your podcast. Like a lot of things you do, you're not paying your mortgage with it, which is amazing to have that freedom. I don't want to make any money off this because these also aren't my words. I know that I sort of drew them out of you, but they're not mine. I thought it'd be really cool to publish the book and then give the proceeds to like local music nonprofits, like the Cedar Woolley Arts Music Performance. It's called The Swamp. They just started last year in Cedar Woolley, and they do like youth concerts, and it's a rehearsal space for kids, and they do lessons. or AMP in Anacortes, or even BHAM in Bellingham. And just that idea of like, you're buying the book probably because you're in it, but also like someone else you get to hear other people's stories. You get to support all of these things. Like, it's like a win-win-win-win-win.
Yeah.
So it'll just take some more time. Those are the only pages I
Yeah.
have.
I think that's an awesome idea. I just think it's a really cool. I mean, I love quotes. Obviously, I had tons of quotes in there, and I think what's cool is these are all, it's local people, but it's also just we hear so much just from these, these people that are famous or whatever, and those are the quotes that get published, and that's what but everybody's got wisdom. So I think capturing that wisdom that's a really neat thing.
All right. Well, I will. So is your website redone now?
It's in process. I mean, it's definitely, so it never went down.
Oh, okay. It's just getting like fine tuned.
Yeah, it was just I don't know. I'll tell you another
pretty.
little story. Yeah, so I had built it and it was okay. And I was like, I'm going to change the theme. I didn't know how to do that, and I deleted it all. And so I just cobbled it back to it. Fortunately, I didn't actually delete everything, so some of the stuff was there, so I was able to copy and paste and
just the layout's all kind of wonky now, or
well, it was a mess, but
okay.
And so I cobbled it back together, and it was fine.
Yeah,
but not good. And I want to write. I have aspirations to write for some other some bigger magazines and some national magazines, and if they come to my website to look at my portfolio, I want them to not stop at that point.
Yeah.
And so so no, it's up. It's looking fine. The homepage is getting close, and then she'll make the rest of the pages look better too. But no, people can go there. It's TonyMoceri.com.
Yeah.
And then I have yardgamenation.com if you want to just go look at yard games.
And then obviously listen to his podcast, Drip, Trickle, Flood. No. Drip, Trickle, Flow, Flood.
Yep.
Yes.
And that's everywhere you listen to podcasts.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming over, Tony. I appreciate it.
Thanks for the invite. I appreciate it too. This is awesome. And I do love your little studio here, and
Thanks.
super cool spot.
I'll see you next year.
Yeah. Absolutely.